If you are doing the Knees Over Toes program or the ATG program, what order should you be doing the programs in? That's a question I've been getting asked quite a bit, and I want to talk about it. If you've been following along on my channel, you know I post a lot about the Knees Over Toes program / the ATG program / Ben Patrick's program. People know it as different things. So I've had a great experience with it, but I want to share a little bit about the variety of programs that he does offer and what my personal journey has been through various programs, what I plan to do, and probably if I did it all over again, what my new order would be based on my experience as well as what Ben Patrick recommends. So if you haven't seen any of my other Knees Over Toes videos or the programs that I've done or anything like that, just a brief overview. I started with Knee Ability Zero. I did that for a few weeks, and then I moved into something called ATG Essentials, which currently no longer exists on the back end that I can see. It's not visibly loaded as a program that I can select to do, but it was something that I got moved into when I asked the coach on the platform, said, hey, I feel pretty good with Zero. What's the next program I can get moved into? And it was ATG Essentials. So that's a little bit of my journey. I've been in ATG Essentials for, I think the past, that would be like 4.5 months now-ish, give or take. And I want to first actually break down each of the programs that are currently on the ATG website on the back end once you do become, a customer and then download their coaching app and buy the program. I want to go through each of those programs and then talk a little bit about the recommended order to go in from what I've gleaned from Ben's blogs, his posts in the Knees Over Toes Reddit, which is a great resource. If you are a Knees Over Toes fan, definitely go to the Reddit. There's a lot of good information in there, but I've seen a lot of Ben's posts in there, responses to other people's questions about this, about the order to go in. And I want to reiterate that and clarify that, given what I know. The first one that's been kind of a staple of the ATG program is Knee Ability Zero. That's still available in there. And what Knee Ability Zero really is a program that you can start with, that you should start with, and that helps you build the foundational strength and mobility, moving into some of these ATG movements, the more complex movements. So it really is just building the foundation, and it also is zero equipment. So you really don't need much to start with, literally nothing. So not even much at all. It's just really easy to get going with that program, and they make it really easy. There's 3 lower body days, 2 upper body and mobility days, and then the rest are rest days. There's another option now that's added into the platform that's called Advanced Zero. So that, from my understanding, is basically zero, but just for more advanced athletes or advanced individuals who kind of want more of a challenge. That wasn't available when I started 6 months ago or so. So I just hopped into Knee Ability Zero. I probably, if I could do it over again, I probably would have started with Advanced Zero because I progressed through the normal Zero, Knee Ability Zero, pretty quickly and didn't need to do the full 12 weeks because they do recommend doing like a foundation of 12 weeks to really build, again, solid foundation of movements and all that. But I submitted my form to the coach and asked if I can be bumped up into a little bit more challenging of a program, which is when they moved me into the next one I want to talk about, which is called ATG Essentials. So at the time, ATG Essentials was listed in the courses. It's currently not listed anymore, but I had been doing ATG Essentials up till recently, up until I requested to try a different program. Not because I didn't like it, it's a really great program, but I want to talk a little bit about what it was because a lot of people have been asking me, what are you doing? I don't see the ATG Essentials one. I'm like, oh, weird, it's not in there anymore. It might be later on in the future, I'm not sure. But I want to talk a little bit about that. I've loved that program. That originally was designed to be the basically the workouts that Ben was doing each week with his athletes in the gym. And that was 4 days a week. It was a great mix of all of the ATG standard kind of exercises that you do, like your split squats, your ATG squats, your Nordics, your tibialis raises. There was some pull-ups, some dips. So it was a good blend of upper body, obviously sled work, and lower body and all that good stuff kind of mixed in there. So it was a constantly changing week to week workout structure. So basically overall is what I'm saying is this was just a pretty well-rounded combination of Ben's exercises with some additional kind of functional exercises that work on your neck strength, your grip strength, and things like that. Okay, so next I want to talk about dense. And dense is actually the program that I just recently transferred into as of last week. So I'm actually just experiencing some of this now and can speak to it and how it's pretty different than the ATG Essentials. And basically what dense is it's a 4 days a week program, and it's focusing more on utilizing, equipment and weights to build and accumulate more strength on top of the foundational strength that you've built through Zero or Zero Advanced, or if you were doing ATG Essentials, that too. So dense is really the place where Ben describes this as like the accumulation phase, where you're accumulating strength but not pushing too much of your limits. You're not trying to get to your max strength yet in a certain move. You're really focusing on volume. There's going to be a lot of reps and sets. For example, yesterday I just did, I think, close to 100 Pelican step-ups on each leg. It's a lot. You're doing a lot, but you're building this really, accumulating a lot of strength in this phase, which is why it's called dense. And dense really prepares you well for the next program, which is called standards. Standards is really a program where you are able to now move past the accumulation phase. You've accumulated a lot of strength in dense, and then standards is where you're really trying to push to the limit of that movement, of getting to certain standards is what he calls them, of different levels of strength. So there'll be standards like, hitting 75% of your body weight in this, or hitting 50% of your body weight in doing reverse squats or things like that. So there's kind of different marks you want to make where you're really trying to push the level of strength and push that limit. So I'm assuming rep ranges are going to look different and set ranges are going to look different for that versus dense, which is going to be more focused on building volume and strength. The next program that's in there is called the Women of ATG. And this was something that wasn't added until recently. I didn't see it when I first started. And this was something that Ben Patrick's wife, Alyssa, created when she was getting some feedback from different women and some different things that they really wanted to see out of the ATG program. So she's gonna actually kind of be refining this program as she comes back from her second baby, which she just had. So congrats, Alyssa. All right, so those are kind of the main programs that are listed, at least right now. The next are kind of bonus programs or additional programs or kind of taster programs that are a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna run through those because these are all new to me. I haven't seen these in there before until recently, and I think they're worth noting. So I recently saw this one and I'm really intrigued and probably will hop into this at some point, but it's called the ATG Sprinter program. So this one is clearly designed for developing more speed. It's developed by somebody named Coach Brendan, who is a sprinter or an athlete in that way. So developing more of the quick twitch muscles. I kind of peeked through the program briefly. It looks like they do include some sprints and some things like that. So I'm assuming that program is going to be more geared towards explosive movements, athletic movements, and those types of things. So that sounds like a lot of fun. Next, there's something called ATG for longevity, which I looked through that one briefly. There was a little description on it, but basically seems like a program that anybody can do, especially if you are in an elderly population or aging population, and you want, people like your mom or your grandparents to start doing some of these exercises, but kind of gently move into it to develop more longevity for their joints. That looks like a really great program to start with. And then lastly, there's a new one that just got added. And if you follow Ben Patrick like I do, you've probably heard him talk about this. And that is the ATG PHA Style Training. I know that's a mouthful. So PHA stands for Peripheral Heart Action. And Peripheral Heart Action is actually really interesting. It's a form type of training. And this is something that Ben learned from another individual in this space in weightlifting and athletic performance, and super interesting. So it's about kind of maximizing your cardiovascular activity in between sets by training two muscle groups that are completely different. So for example, he used the example of doing a chest press, an ATG style chest press, in combination and supersetting that with doing tibialis raises, because you're still giving one muscle group time to recover, but you're still actively training the other. And that's gonna also challenge your cardiovascular activity because you're not really fully resting. So if you're interested in that, it sounds like he's currently developing that training program. It is kind of listed in there as hey, check it out. We're talking about this on our podcast, but it's not formally listed as a program yet to dive into, but it seems really interesting. So I'm gonna keep you guys up to date on that as I learn more. All right. So Let's talk about program order. So first you're gonna wanna start off with knee ability 0 or advanced 0. You could honestly probably stay in knee ability 0 for as long as you want because it's just a great thing to incorporate. A lot of those exercises are really great for just continued longevity of the joints. But if you want to truly like make a difference as an athlete and continue to develop your athletic ability, I'd say it's gonna be needed to progress. But knee ability 0 stuff is still great. Like if you're traveling and don't have equipment, you can always go back to some of those basic fundamental exercises and still get a killer workout that way. So I would start there with one of the 0 programs. Then it seems like from what I've been reading from Ben's Reddit posts and things to questions on program order, the next recommendation from there is to move into dense. Dense, like I said, is gonna really help you to develop the full strength. You're gonna add in some weights. You're gonna continue to accumulate strength throughout those ranges of motions that you've been practicing. And it's gonna prepare you for being able to push the limits as you move to the next program, which is recommended, which is standards. So we're going 0, dense, standards, and then from there, I mean, the sky's the limit. You can really go wherever you want at that point. For me, as an athlete, I wanna do the ATG for sprinters at some point to really develop more speed and explosiveness. So that's probably gonna be my personal track. Like I said, I had been doing the ATG Essentials for 4.5 months and just moved into dense. So had I been able to do it all over again, I probably would have gone straight from 0 to dense to standards. But it is what it is, and I still gained a lot of strength and a lot of a lot of fun throughout the program too with the variability of it. So I'm really excited to dive into dense though and really see like the gains I'm gonna make there. So there you have it, guys. That's what I've kind of learned throughout this entire process in terms of the order to do programs in. Obviously, Ben probably will continue to put out more content, more programs and things like that, and the order may change up. But as of right now, it seems like that's the order he's recommending. That's the order I would probably do it in if I could do it all over again. But I think that's gonna give you the best chances of success to really build your foundation, your strength, and then push that strength to the limits. Seems like it makes sense. All right, you guys, I hope that answered your questions and helped to give you a track to kind of move into that's going to, lead you into a successful path. I'm sure it will. The ATG family has been amazing, amazing, amazing. I've had such a great experience. And if you haven't watched my 4-month review, definitely watch that. I talk a lot about like my whole experience in it, and it's just been nothing but wonderful things. So if you are like me and have had ACL surgery or knee issues in general, definitely give them out a shot. I'm gonna put all the information to sign up down below. And as always, follow me over on Instagram if you want to direct message me there. If you have any questions or if you just wanna say hey, more than happy to say hey back. And as always, if you can like this video and subscribe to my channel, I would greatly appreciate it, you guys. All right, thanks so much. Bye.